These are 15 airport secrets that airlines and airports actively hide from travelers, and knowing them could save you money, protect your health, and change how you navigate every terminal from now on. Millions of passengers move through airports every year believing they understand how things work, following the signs, waiting in lines, and assuming the process is straightforward. What most don't realize is that airports operate as carefully engineered systems designed to serve industry interests first and passenger convenience second. From behavioral manipulation built into the flooring, to hidden surveillance zones, to financial traps positioned at every turn, we're going to examine what really happens behind those polished terminals. At the end, I'll share a practical bonus tip that can immediately improve your next airport experience. Before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you travel even a little. We break down airports, airlines, and hacks that actually save you time, money, and stress. Trust me, this one's going to make your next trip way easier. Secret number 1: surveillance hotspots. When you sit down near a security checkpoint or plug into a charging station, you may have just positioned yourself in a designated surveillance zone. Certain seating areas throughout airports are placed specifically for observation purposes, and these locations can include hidden cameras along with built-in microphones that collect data while passengers go about their business. You might think you're simply charging your device or killing time before boarding, but you could also be providing behavioral information without knowing it. The takeaway here is straightforward, which is to stay mindful of where you sit and what you discuss, especially when you're near security installations or official kiosks. Secret number 2: cognitive friction through flooring. You've probably noticed that you naturally slow down in certain areas of the airport, particularly around security checkpoints. And this is not accidental. Airports deliberately switch the flooring from hard tile to soft carpet in strategic locations, and the term for this is cognitive friction. What happens is that the transition affects your brain just enough to alter your walking pace, slowing you down without you consciously realizing it. From the airport's perspective, slower moving passengers are easier to control, screen, and direct through checkpoints in an orderly way. That plush carpeting beneath your feet is not about comfort at all, and it's actually a tool designed for crowd management and behavioral engineering. Secret number 3: you're not anonymous. Most travelers assume they're just another face in the crowd, but airport staff often receive advance information about specific passengers before those passengers even arrive. VIPs and frequent flyers get flagged, and so do individuals who have caused problems in the past. What this means is that if you've ever had a difficult interaction at baggage claim or with airline staff, that information may follow you on future trips. Flight attendants and gate agents receive training to watch, assess, and note passenger behavior as part of standard procedure. The staff serving you may already know more about your travel history than you'd expect. Secret number 4: advanced luggage screening. After you hand your checked bag to the airline, it doesn't simply travel directly to the plane. Your luggage first passes through an explosive detection system equipped with scanners that analyze far more than just what's visible on the outside. Advanced imaging technology, chemical detection systems, and shape analysis work together to inspect the contents of your belongings, and this entire process happens quickly and automatically before your bag ever reaches the conveyor system leading to the aircraft. The technology isn't examining your souvenir choices, but it is thoroughly scanning for anything that could pose a threat. Secret number 5: unclaimed luggage auctions. Most travelers never think about what happens to bags that are never claimed, and the answer might surprise you. Those bags don't sit in storage forever, and after a designated period, unclaimed luggage gets sold at auction. Airport auctions are a real practice where bags go to the highest bidder without being opened or inspected beforehand, which means the contents remain completely unknown until the buyer takes possession. You might end up with something valuable or something worthless, and it's basically a gamble. For you as a traveler, this serves as a good reminder to keep anything important in your carry-on, because if your checked bag stays lost long enough, it could become someone else's mystery purchase. Secret number 6: overbooking. One of the most common airline practices that passengers rarely understand until it affects them directly is overbooking, which means airlines routinely sell more tickets than there are actual seats on the aircraft. The reasoning behind this comes down to data and algorithms showing that a certain percentage of passengers won't show up for any given flight. So by overbooking, airlines maximize their revenue on every departure. The problem arises when everyone does show up, and that's when passengers get involuntarily bumped from their confirmed seats. This practice is entirely legal and carefully calculated to extract maximum profit, which means your confirmed reservation doesn't actually guarantee you'll board that plane. Secret number 7. Padded flight times. If you've ever celebrated arriving early to your destination, here's something that might change your perspective. You probably weren't actually early at all because airlines routinely add extra time to their published flight schedules. These padded flight times can add minutes or even hours to the estimated travel duration, and the purpose comes down to on-time performance statistics. When a flight runs late but still arrives within its padded schedule, the airline records it as on time or early, making their reliability numbers look better while passengers feel satisfied. That early arrival you appreciated was likely built into the schedule from the start. Secret number 8. Ghost flights. If you've ever seen a plane take off with almost no passengers on board, you weren't imagining things. These are called ghost flights, and airlines operate them to protect their airport slot allocations. At major airports, takeoff and landing times are valuable commodities that airlines must use or risk losing to competitors. Rather than cancel a flight and surrender that slot, some airlines choose to fly an empty or nearly empty aircraft just to maintain their airport access rights. The practice is expensive, inefficient, and environmentally questionable, but protecting those slots makes the cost worthwhile from a business standpoint. Secret number 9. Secret code words. This is a sensitive topic, but understanding it gives you insight into how airlines handle emergencies. Occasionally, passengers pass away during flights, and when this happens, airlines use coded language to manage the situation discreetly. Phrases like Jim Wilson or Operation Sunrise sound harmless to most passengers, but to trained crew members, these terms signal a serious situation requiring specific protocols. The goal is to handle the matter calmly without creating panic among other passengers. When you hear something unusually formal or coded over the aircraft intercom, you may be witnessing a quiet emergency being handled professionally behind the scenes. Secret number 10. Pilots resting. During flight. On long-haul flights, your pilot may actually be sleeping while the aircraft is in the air. And before that alarms you, understand that this is standard procedure and completely regulated. During extended journeys, pilots take turns, resting in hidden compartments or reclined crew seats while the co-pilot and autopilot systems maintain the flight path. And this practice is both legal and safe. Well-rested pilots make better decisions, particularly during critical phases like landing, so you would rather have your captain take a scheduled rest period during cruise altitude than struggle with fatigue during approach. The system exists with your safety in mind. Secret number 11. Water fountain contamination. When you pass through security and notice a water fountain, your first instinct might be to refill your empty bottle, but I'd encourage you to think twice about that. Studies have shown that many airport water fountains go extended periods without proper cleaning, sometimes lasting weeks between sanitation. These fixtures can harbor mold, bacteria, and biofilm buildup, and hundreds of travelers touch that button every single day. Paying for bottled water inside the terminal costs more, but the alternative carries real health risks that aren't worth saving a few dollars over. Secret number 12. Aircraft cleanliness. Airplanes carry hundreds of passengers from various locations around the world, and the cleaning that happens between flights is nowhere near as thorough as most people assume. Between departures, aircraft typically receive a quick surface wipe rather than a full deep clean, and the more intensive cleaning happens infrequently, perhaps once a month at most. That tray table you're about to use for your meal has been touched by countless passengers since its last proper sanitization, and the same applies to armrests, seat belts, and seatback pockets. Carrying sanitizing wipes and cleaning your immediate area before you settle in remains a smart health precaution. Secret number 13. Airport ATM fees. The convenience of airport ATMs comes at a steep cost that many travelers don't fully appreciate until they check their bank statements days later. These machines typically charge much higher fees than standard ATMs, and the exchange rates for international travelers run unfavorable enough to make a real difference. 10% or more can disappear on a single withdrawal in some cases, and if you're using a foreign card, the situation gets even worse. The better approach is to withdraw any needed cash before arriving at the airport, or simply use credit cards for purchases once you're inside the terminal. Secret number 14. Terminal price markups. Once you clear security, you become what marketers call a captive audience, and everything from bottled water to magazines to snacks carries a significant price markup as a result. The economics behind this are simple, because your options have vanished and you can't leave to find better prices. Airport vendors know travelers are tired, hungry, and limited in their choices, so they price their goods accordingly. The most practical defense involves bringing your own snacks through security, which is permitted for solid food items, and your wallet will appreciate the planning. Secret number 15. Airport lounge access. Those comfortable airport lounges with quality seating, complimentary refreshments, and peaceful atmospheres aren't reserved exclusively for wealthy travelers or top-tier frequent flyers. And this is something many people don't realize. Many lounges offer day passes for reasonable fees, and numerous credit cards, including some with no annual fee, include complimentary lounge access as a benefit that goes unused. Instead of waiting at a crowded gate with expensive coffee and limited amenities, you could be enjoying complimentary food and beverages in a comfortable environment. Before your next trip, check whether your credit card or airline app provides lounge access, because it's an underused perk that can dramatically improve long layovers. Bonus tip: the bathroom strategy. Here's something practical that can immediately improve your post-flight experience. When your plane lands and the seatbelt sign turns off, passengers rush to the aisle and then head directly to the nearest bathroom in the arrivals area. And here's the problem with that approach. That particular bathroom is the busiest, most heavily used, and often least clean facility in the entire terminal, because every passenger from your flight and previous arrivals competes for the same space. The smarter move involves walking a bit further into the terminal, where the bathrooms are typically cleaner, emptier, and better stocked with supplies. It requires only an additional minute of walking, but the difference transforms a stressful post-flight necessity into something far more civilized. Conclusion: these 15 secrets represent just a portion of what happens behind the scenes at airports around the world. Behavioral design is built into the flooring beneath your feet. Surveillance systems may be monitoring your conversations. Overbooking algorithms maximize airline profits at your expense. And ghost flights protect corporate interests over environmental concerns. Understanding these practices doesn't require becoming cynical about travel, and it simply means moving through airports with your eyes open. When you know flight times are padded, early arrivals won't impress you the same way. When you understand overbooking, confirmed seat assignments carry a different weight. When you recognize the markup economics, you'll pack snacks instead of paying premium prices. Knowledge makes you a more capable and less exploitable traveler, and in an industry designed to maximize every possible advantage, being informed remains your best protection. If you found this information useful, consider sharing it with fellow travelers who deserve to know what's really going on at the airport.